The Pacific Ocean is so vast, it could swallow every continent on Earth and still have room to spare. And yet, we've managed to create more detailed maps of the surface of Mars, millions of kilometers away, than we have of the world that starts right at our own shores. Think about that. We have clearer pictures of Martian dust dunes than we do of the landscape that covers 2/3 of our own planet. This isn't just an ocean. It's another world, hiding in plain sight. Oh, what secrets are lurking in its crushing, dark depths? Secrets that are stranger and more profound than any legend.
When we think of ocean mysteries, our minds usually jump to ghost ships or mythical sea monsters.
But the truth is infinitely more fascinating. The real enigmas of the Pacific aren't scribbled in old sailors' logs. They're found in the data files of scientists. This is a journey into the heart of scientific uncertainty, into the crushing pressures and absolute darkness of our... We're not chasing krakens or lost cities. We're exploring the very edge of human knowledge, where the mysteries are more complex and awe-inspiring than anything we could dream up. From the humbling scale of our own ignorance to the chorus of unexplained sounds echoing through the abyss. These are the greatest real mysteries of the Pacific Ocean, the questions scientists are still trying to answer today. Before we can get into specific mysteries, we have to face the biggest one of all, the mind-boggling scale of what we simply don't know. It's a mystery of absence, a giant blank space on our own planetary map.
You've probably heard the cliché that we've explored less than 5% of the ocean, but that phrase both oversimplifies and understates the truth.
The reality is far more astonishing.
Let's start with mapping. Mapping isn't the same as exploring. It's just charting the seafloor's topography, like making a relief map of a hidden continent. For centuries, this meant dropping a weighted rope and measuring its length, a painfully slow process. Today, we use high-resolution sonar that paints a much clearer picture. Even so, our progress has been slow. Back in 2017, the Seabed 2030 project, a massive global initiative to map the entire ocean, thanks to a huge international effort, that number has been climbing. As of mid-2024, the project announced that about 27% of the global seafloor has been mapped in high resolution. It's a monumental achievement, but it also means that nearly 3/4 of our planet's foundation remains a blurry, low-resolution mystery. We know the general shape of these areas from satellite data, but we lack the detail to see underwater mountain ranges,
But mapping is just step one.
True exploration, physically sending a submersible, a robot, or a camera to observe and study a location, is a whole other story. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, is a leader in this. Their official stance is that more than 80% of our global ocean remains unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. That three-part description is key. A spot might be roughly mapped, but it's still never been seen by human or robotic eyes. So how much have we actually seen? The numbers are almost comically small.
Some estimates suggest that we have visually surveyed less than 1/100% of the deep seafloor.
Let that sink in. For every 1 million square kilometers of the deep ocean, we've laid eyes on a patch of just 10 square kilometers.
The rest is known only through the indirect whispers of sonar pings.
It's a world we have charted from a distance, but one we have barely visited.
Why this profound ignorance?
Because the deep ocean is a brutally hostile place. The deep sea officially starts around 200 meters down, where sunlight fades to perpetual darkness. With every 10 meters you descend, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. The average ocean depth is nearly 3,700 meters, where the pressure is immense.
But the Pacific is home to the extremes.
It contains the Hadal zone, the parts of the ocean deeper than 6,000 meters. The pressure there can be over 1,000 times what it is at the surface. A force so intense, it's often compared to the weight of It's an environment so alien that every single dive is a monumental feat of engineering.
This is the foundational mystery of the Pacific.
It's a volume of space so immense and inaccessible that it holds countless other secrets. Every other mystery we're about to explore exists because of this simple truth. We are living on a planet that is still. In the crushing darkness of the deep Pacific, sound travels in ways light never could. For decades, scientists have used incredibly sensitive underwater microphones, called hydrophones, to listen in.
Originally set up during the Cold War to track enemy subs, these listening arrays started picking up something else entirely.
The most famous of these is a sound nicknamed the Bloop. Back in 1997, hydrophones spread across the Pacific picked up a bizarre, ultra-low frequency noise.
It rose in frequency for about a minute, and was so loud it was detected by sensors over 5,000 kilometers apart.
The sound's profile was eerily similar to that of a marine animal, but it was way more powerful than the call of any
For years, speculations ran wild. Could it be some colossal, undiscovered monster?
The idea was tantalizing. The mystery lingered for about 15 years. The real story, when it finally emerged, was just as grand. After careful analysis, NOAA scientists concluded the Bloop wasn't biological at all. Its acoustic signature perfectly matched a cryoseismic event, a massive ice quake. The sound was likely the groan of a colossal iceberg fracturing and breaking away from a glacier in Antarctica, its death cry echoing across an entire ocean. The sound of a dying mountain of ice was so powerful, and it sounded like a monster. Other strange sounds, like Julia and Slow Down, have also been traced back to giant icebergs grinding against the seafloor. But while the Bloop may be solved, other acoustic puzzles remain.
Take Upsweep.
First detected in 1991, Upsweep is a long train of rising sounds that repeats for several seconds.
It's been heard all over the Pacific, and it seems to get louder in the spring and fall. NOAA suspects it might originate from a volcanically active region in the southern Pacific, but the exact cause is still a mystery.
Is it magma moving under the seafloor?
35 years after we first heard it, Upsweep's volume has been slowly fading, but its ghostly call is an enduring question mark.
And then there's the whistle.
Recorded in the Pacific in 1997, this weird, high-pitched signal was only picked up by a single hydrophone, making it impossible to trace its source.
It sounds nothing like a whale or a submarine.
While it could be volcanic, its unique signature doesn't match any known phenomenon, leaving it as a singular. These sounds show us how dynamic and violent our planet is, just hidden beneath the waves. But the deep isn't silent void. It's a resonant chamber filled with the groans of shifting ice. We just haven't learned how to interpret everything it's saying.
We are journeying to the absolute frontiers of our own planet, and what we're finding is that reality is far stranger than fiction. If you're as fascinated by this stuff as we are, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss where we're going next. The biggest discoveries are still out there, waiting in the dark. Now, let's get back to the abyss.
To really grasp the Pacifical's mysteries, we have to go to its deepest, darkest, and most hostile realm, the Hadal zone. Named after Hades, the Greek underworld, this zone covers the deepest parts of the ocean. You find it mainly in the immense trenches that scar the Pacific floor, like the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth.
Here, the rules of life get completely rewritten.
In the Challenger Deep, at nearly 11,000 meters, the pressure is over 1,000 times what we feel at the surface. The temperature hovers just above freezing, and there is no sunlight.
Ever. For a long time, it was assumed that nothing complex could survive here.
But expeditions with robotic and manned submersibles have shown us that the Hadal zone isn't a barren wasteland. It's home to a surprisingly vibrant and profoundly weird community of organisms. These are the extremophiles, creatures that have evolved not just to survive, but to thrive in conditions that would instantly crush, freeze, and starve almost anything else. One of the most iconic residents is the Mariana snailfish.
With its ghostly, translucent skin and tiny dark eyes, it looks impossibly fragile.
Yet this fish is the apex predator of the Challenger Deep. Its survival is a marvel of biochemistry.
It has evolved special molecules called piezolites that stop the crushing pressure from destroying its proteins. Its skeleton is also mostly cartilage, giving it flexibility where bone would just shatter.
But it gets weirder.
In the trenches, you can find a phenomenon called deep-sea gigantism. Creatures that are tiny in shallow waters can grow to enormous sizes. For example, amphipods, small, shrimp-like crustaceans that are usually no bigger than a fingernail, are found in a...
The mystery deepens when we look at what we can't see. The Hadal zone is teeming with microbes.
Recent genetic analyses of sediment from the trench floor have revealed an extraordinary diversity of microorganisms, with a huge percentage being completely new to science. This isn't just a few new bacteria. It's an entire unseen ecosystem. These microbes are the base of the food web, recycling the steady rain of organic matter, called marine snow, that drifts down from above.
Recent expeditions keep adding to this catalogue of the unknown.
In 2023, the Chinese submersible Fenduze explored a trench in the southern Mariana system and discovered a vibrant chemosynthetic community.
We have barely begun to take a census of life on our own planet.
Scientists estimate that the oceans could hold anywhere from 700,000 to 1 million species.
The Hadal zone is where many of these hidden life forms likely reside. Mix. The greatest biological mystery of the Pacific isn't about whether monsters exist, but how many millions of real, incredible creatures are.
For most of history, we believed all life on Earth depended on one thing: the sun.
But in 1977, a discovery in the Pacific, near the Galapagos Islands, turned that fundamental law of biology on its head. Scientists in a submersible found something that shouldn't exist: a dense oasis of life clustered around towering chimneys billowing black, superheated water.
These were hydrothermal vents, and they revealed a completely new way for life to exist. These vents form along mid-ocean ridges where tectonic plates are pulling apart.
Seawater seeps into cracks, gets superheated to over 400 degrees Celsius by magma, and erupts back into the freezing deep, loaded with minerals.
This creates the iconic black smokers. In this toxic, high-pressure, lightless world, life flourishes.
The energy source isn't the sun, it's the Earth itself.
The process is called chemosynthesis.
Specialized bacteria harness chemical energy from compounds like hydrogen sulfide, the stuff that gives rotten eggs their smell. These microbes are the plants of the vent ecosystem. And the animals here are like nothing else on Earth. Giant tube worms, some over 2 meters long, stand in dense thickets.
They have no mouth and no gut.
Instead, they're packed with symbiotic bacteria. The worm's bright red plume absorbs chemicals from the vent and oxygen from the water, delivering them to the bacteria inside. It's a perfect partnership. The East Pacific Rise is a global hotspot for these ecosystems. Here you find fields of mussels, pale white crabs, and ghostly fish. Each vent field can be an isolated island with its own unique species. In 2023, an expedition to this region reported finding a previously undocumented habitat beneath it. These vents do more than just support weird life. Oceans. The mineral-rich water they spew can rise for hundreds of meters and get carried by currents for hundreds of kilometers, seeding the depths. And scientists are now studying the vents to better monitor the magma chambers below, a crucial step toward understanding the powerful forces.
Hydrothermal vents show us that life is tenacious and opportunistic. It can thrive in total darkness, under crushing pressure, on a diet of poison.
In crystallers. This discovery forced us to reconsider where life could exist, not just on Earth, but elsewhere in the solar system. The fiery oases of the Pacific Abyss are a constant reminder that life's rulebook is far more flexible than we ever imagined. As we move away from the searing heat of the vents and back into the vast, cold darkness, another of the Pacific's great mysteries.
This is the world of bioluminescence, the phenomenon of living light. Far from being a rare trick, it is the dominant language of the deep sea.
In the twilight zone between 200 and 1,000 meters deep, it's estimated that around 80% of all animals can make their own light. Deeper down, that number might be even higher.
The evolution of bioluminescence is a mystery itself.
This ability has evolved independently dozens of times, some scientists say over 90 times, across the tree of life. This tells us that in the dark of the deep ocean, making light is a profound survival advantage. Deep-sea creatures use light for pretty much everything.
For some, it's a lure. The anglerfish dangles a glowing bait in front of its massive jaws, a deadly beacon for smaller fish.
For others, light is camouflage. Many animals use a technique called counter-illumination, using light-producing organs on their bellies to match the faint sunlight.
Light is also a defense.
When attacked, some shrimp and squid release a cloud of glowing fluid, a blinding flash that lets them escape into the dark.
It's like a deep-sea flashbang.
It can also act as a burglar alarm, attracting an even bigger predator that might be more interested in eating the attacker.
And of course, light is for communication.
In a world without visual cues, glowing patterns are used to find a mate or signal to rivals. It's a silent, luminous language that we're only just beginning to decipher. The Pacific, with its immense volume of deep water, is a showcase for this glowing biodiversity. A recent study, for instance, finally confirmed that the kitefin shark, which lives in the deep waters off New Zealand, is bioluminescent. This officially makes it the largest known luminous vertebrate in the world, a glowing shark navigating the darkness.
The chemistry behind this is a marvel of efficiency.
It's a cold light, created by a chemical reaction that is highly efficient compared to an incandescent light bulb, which wastes most of its energy as heat.
Each spark in the darkness is a life, communicating, hunting, and hiding.
It's a dynamic, living light show on a planetary scale, a silent conversation in a language we are still struggling to understand. We started this journey at the edge of the Pacific, looking out at a world we thought we knew. We end it thousands of meters below the surface, in a realm more alien than we could have imagined. We've journeyed through a world defined by our own ignorance, where nearly 3/4 of the seafloor is still a blurry mystery. We've listened to the voices of the abyss, the ghostly cry of a dying iceberg, and the persistent, unanswered calls. We've visited the crushing darkness of the Hadal zone, not a desert, but a world teeming with fragile yet resilient life. We've seen oases thriving on chemical energy from the Earth's core, ecosystems that expand our idea of where life might exist beyond our planet. And we've floated through a silent, living galaxy of creatures that conquered eternal darkness by creating their own light. The greatest mysteries of the Pacific are not about monsters. They're about the nature of life, the history of our planet, and the vast, humbling frontiers of human knowledge.
The truth is, we are still strangers on our own world.
The Pacific is the last great wilderness, its secrets guarded not by mythical beasts, but by depth and darkness and distance. But with every expedition, the map gets a little clearer. The work of institutions like NOAA, the Seabed 2030 Project, and research teams around the globe is slowly pulling back the curtain.
The mysteries we've explored are invitations, the great scientific quests of our time.
The real question isn't what legends are hiding in the deep, but what incredible realities are still waiting to be discovered. What we've covered today is just a tiny fraction of the mysteries hidden in our oceans.
Which of these enigmas fascinates you the most?
Is it the unexplained sounds, the bizarre life of the trenches, or just the fact that we've barely explored our own planet? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and your curiosity helps shape where we go next. And if you want to keep exploring the frontiers of science, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications.
The age of discovery is far from over.
In many ways, it's just beginning.
Thanks for watching.